Welcome to Flourish, the Woman in Progress. Every conversation here is an invitation back to yourself to steady your body, clarify your mind, reclaim your emotional authority, and align your spirit with the work you are placed here to do. No one drifts into greatness. A woman chooses it. It is here that we build lives that speak for themselves. I am Teresa Ford, and I believe everything beautiful within you deserves room to flourish. This is Flourish, and we are just getting started. Welcome back to Flourish, the Woman in Progress. This is the fourth in our four-part series of what healing looks like under the umbrella of self-empowerment. The spiritual component, the spiritual pillar of self-empowerment is raising your sights to the standard of self-leadership. That means there's got to be a standard in which that you operate by on the spiritual level. See, you're a spirit in your body, right? Your body's healthy, your spirit thrives. Your body's heavy, your spirit kind of is heavy as well. And that all the middlemen on that is the thoughts you think and the nervous system that responds to the thoughts, right? So when all of that is going on, healing isn't trying to become something better. It's not trying harder. It's not working harder, not smarter. It's literally working with your true nature so that you're remembering who you've been all along. It's so interesting that we have so much noise in this world. The noise of our upbringing. Will mom or dad be proud of us? The noise of trying to satisfy their expectations for you as a person and you in your life. And if you've shown up hyper independent or with perfectionism or addicted to adrenaline or a various number of things that has put heaviness in your body, it's really hard to feel the connection and the love and the light that you actually are. So the connection of returning to what is already true is the most important part of your spiritual awakening or your spiritual awareness or the spiritual connection that you desire. You see, I already know that God knows who you are. But sometimes doubt creeps in. And if doubt is there, it's really hard to actually access the knowingness of your greatness because you're really, really great. You are. You're amazing. And if that's in stone and it can't be undone, then why do we act less than amazing? It's because we're managing the noise, the expectations, the comparisons, the external validation that we seek. We seek it in likes on social media. We seek it on follows. We seek it on how many people buy our programs or how many people compliment us on our children's manners. Like, we're seeking that validation. But you know what is actually true is when you're doing a good job. You don't actually need anyone to pat you on the back. You're already like, yeah, I do feel good about that. There is something about the spiritual connection that when you're in tune with the job you're doing and with your intentions, even though it's not perfect, even though it's not without mistake, even though, but you can still recognize your true connection to your true self. I know when I'm doing a good job, and I don't say that pridefully. Where I'm not talking about pumping up your ego. I'm talking about that metaphoric pat on the back where you're like, I really feel good about my efforts today. There is the removal of resistance in that. You're not trying to feel good about yourself. You just do. It's the whole energy of manifesting. You just feel good because you're feeling good, because it's part of who you are, what you do, and how you live. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. But let's go into it a little deeper. We're trying to quiet the noise of outside exterior opinion so that we can hear God's wisdom for us. We have an inner guidance system for a reason. We're born with the light of Christ in us. That's how we know right from wrong. Even if we weren't brought up to understand right from wrong, we still do. We still have a conscience, right? That is the light of Christ, and it's guiding us all the time. We have an inner guidance system. We have the ability to ask ourselves what's right, what's wrong, what's yes, what's no, and to receive an answer. We have the right to that information. And it's amazing how often we just bypass it and Google something. We want to get the answers right away. Immediate gratification is what they say, right? But if the answers are here, the ones you're looking for, what's the most important thing I can do with my time today? That answer is right here. And if you ask yourself, you'll hear it. But if we're like, the most important thing I can do is make sure that my boss is happy, make sure that the husband is taken care of. Like, all the busy work can be very noisy if you're not listening to the most important thing. So let me give you an example. So there's a relationship that I do cherish, but there was another person that was impeding that. And it was causing me a lot of past memory of jealousy to show up. And jealousy is just, they're doing something you can do too, and you're not. And I was having this experience with jealousy, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? And then I was like, okay, I don't want to show up as the jealous person that somebody else is impeding our relationship. I didn't want to show up that way because I knew that's not really who I am, and that was a trigger thing. And my love and light can be so pure, and I wanted it to show up that way. So I excused myself from the situation, and I was like, what is the most important thing that can happen right now? How do I want to show up as my true spiritual, loving, light self? And then the opportunity presented itself. And the very first thing out of my mouth was not rehearsed. I wasn't sure what I was going to say, but it was a loving compliment, truly felt and meant, with a hug. And it felt like such a relief. It felt so good, because that is who we truly are. We are not built to withhold love, but we will if we're protecting ourselves, the nervous system, the brain, the thought. But if we don't have to protect ourselves, then that spiritual connection with the love and light that we are can actually be extended outside of ourselves when we're not self-protecting. So that's one example. So another example of living without a spiritual standard is the decision fatigue, the how should I show up? What should I do? What's expected of me? What the shoulds, right? It's overthinking. It's misalignment because we're trying to perform and we're trying not to make somebody else uncomfortable. We're trying not to create an embarrassing situation. We're trying not to, and we're just living our life without a compass. We're doing all these things because of fear, but we're not doing it because of love. The love and light that we are is a very natural way to express ourselves and to express ourselves to others and lift them up. The whole idea, the needs of the spirit, the whole idea of your spirit in the body is growth and contribution. So the growth is catching yourself in a moment where you're withholding love on some level. There's jealousy, there's, an old memory of they did something to me that they didn't apologize for, or whatever. If we're holding on to that, we are living less than. We're living below the standard of love and light and sharing that. And so if we're growing, that's that progress. And the woman in progress flourish, right? We flourish. Like when I offered the goodwill that was truly felt and meant with love and light, my whole body went, phew. Because holding on to negative emotion is exhausting. It's a lot of mental damage. And when we let it go, it's a relief. That's how we know we just made progress. That's how we know a little more healing happened in the spirit, because the spirit is nothing but love and light. And if there's a withholding of love, it is going against our true nature to extend love and light naturally. So that spiritual healing, that spiritual empowerment, like I was so empowered. The person I was hugging was so empowered. Like all the love just exploded in that moment of giving from the true love and light that is possible for all of us. And nothing feels better than that. It just doesn't. Like it lights you on fire, and then you just go about your way doing more of that because it's so exciting and so freeing, right? And so not wanting to give somebody a hug or holding a grudge is just falling below the standard that you are here to actually manifest, meaning manifest as in bringing forward and present in your life more often than not, okay? And the contribution part of your spirit is that you take that love and light and move it forward. You take it to lift up the hands that hang down. A lot of women feel bad about themselves for whatever reason. It could be childhood conditioning, and it could be part of feeling unbelonged, or, they're telling themselves a story that is less than truth. When we are living true to the spirit of love and light, we're choosing what aligns with truth. We are actually letting decisions become clear. We're letting ourselves shine. Our ego sometimes won't allow that. Somebody wasn't nice to us, and so we're going to hold a grudge. Let's talk about that. Why? Who suffers when you hold a grudge? You do. Why? Because it harbors ill will or negative energy. And who is that going to benefit ever? No one. No one. It doesn't help you. I was asking a question of my higher self. I was asking God. Those are one and the same. Just in my mind, those are one and the same. And I was asking God, like, there was somebody that had
promised something and underdelivered, and they had done it over and over and over again. They weren't worth their word. I couldn't trust them. And I was ruminating on not being able to trust this person that I really ought to be able to trust. And I was asking God, how am I going to stop mistrusting this person? How can I ever trust them again? And God said, don't trust them, because the natural man is an enemy to God. Like they're just struggling in their own way. It's like, so if they're not trustworthy, that's a struggle. There's a wound. There's something going on there that is not allowing them to show their true love and light of being trustworthy. And so I was like, don't trust them. What does that even mean? And the answer came in, it's draining your energy to not trust them. Not trusting them is an energy vampire. I was like, what? Oh, you're right. That's a lot of energy out the window, and you don't get anything back from that. So why don't I put energy into something that is actually going to have a return on it? And you know what I ended up doing? The answer was trust God. Oh yeah, I'm putting my trust in man. Why would I do that? No, but when we trust God, we don't have to trust somebody else, because we're trusting that his pathway will be known to us, be made known to us. We were trusting that he's leading us. He is guiding us. And then we don't have to harbor ill will towards somebody else, because that dims us. Instead, we can share our light with the world by trusting God. And that's our focus. When our focus is on God, then we're not getting distracted. There's none of this overwhelm. There's none of this decision fatigue. I don't have to do that. That's a drain on our energy, and it takes away from our love and light. So spiritually speaking, it doesn't make sense. So if you want to take your power back, which is the healing process, and to make progress, healing, we have to check to see where we're harboring ill will, because it's a thought, it's held in the body. Our nervous system is sending out a "we're not safe" message, and it causes stress. So if we're stressed, we got to reverse engineer our way back out of that, so our light can shine, so we can be here for the growth and contribution. You're not growing if you're harboring. You're not making a contribution if you're withholding. So we have to reverse engineer that. And when we take away grievances, we remove judgments, we stop being hypercritical, and we put our trust where it rightly belongs, with God, everything gets better. You're so much lighter already, because you are not having to compete with the angst and anxiety of trying to control something that is out of your control. You cannot control other people. We can't ask them to change so we can feel better. It is our job to take emotional responsibility for our spiritual well-being. And we do that by going, oh, I'm the one that's suffering. I'm putting all this negative energy towards somebody that did something, or something that should have been different, but it wasn't. And now who's in jail? We are. We're in jail. So if we're in jail, guess what? We get nothing. There's no benefit to being in jail. Emotional jail, spiritual jail, mental jail, physical jail. It's just, no. That's us giving our freedom away. If we have freedom of choice and we choose to be free, because we're going to focus on God, we're going to focus on our life, we're going to focus on our light and what we're here to do to lift the collective, and it starts with us first, that's a much better idea than faltering, going to the default of self-defense, fighting our way into someone's good graces because we need them to see us in a different light, whatever. If somebody's not trustworthy, if somebody hasn't kept their end of the bargain, if somebody has slighted you in some way, you got to double check, because this is just not going to do. You are just not that person that was designed to hold on to negative energy. You're here to offer your love and light, and the connection that you have from God that runs through you, from your life to those that are within your circle of influence. That is where you grow. That is the progress you're here to make. That's the healing that has to happen when you know who you are. It reflects. It reflects out from your true love and light into the rest of the world, and then you flourish. It's magic. Thank you for joining me for this 4-part series and the big umbrella of self-empowerment and what you can do to flourish as the woman in progress. I'll see you in the next episode.
Flourish is the voice of a larger movement, the empowered woman's journey to freedom, a rising collective of women who design their lifestyles with intention, Lead with conviction and know that the legacy they leave is shaped by the standards they hold today. You are the woman in progress. So stand tall in your authority. And when you lead yourself well, it changes the trajectory of generations. That is the point. If something stirred within you, don't ignore it. Explore it, follow it, expand from it. It's who we are, it's how we live, it's what we do. And I'll see you next time on Flourish.